everybody, I'm Stacey J.
And I'm Chuck Duran.
Welcome to a special spotlight episode of VO Buzz Weekly.
Absolutely.
So check this out. We were at VO Atlanta 2015 a couple months ago, back in March, and the closing day was so cool. It was like this generosity train pulled up. They were doing giveaways that were planned, and then all of a sudden, everyone's standing up going, I want to give away an hour coaching session. You know, Jody Gottlieb's giving away coaching sessions, and George Whittam is giving away, and Ann Ganguza, and everybody was, and so I look at Chuck and I'm like, well, we've got to do something too. So we said, why don't we do like a little spotlight segment on someone who's there at VO Atlanta? So Gerald reached into, and it was so funny because everyone was just like shouting out. And so Gerald's like, what is going on?
Yeah, what is going on?
So it was so cool. So he reached in and he pulled out our guest's name, and we were so excited to talk to her. She is actually in Atlanta. Her name is Alanna Bryant, and she is joining us by Skype, and we are so excited to talk to her. And are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's talk to Alanna right now.
Okay. Hey, Alanna, how are you? Good to see you again.
Hey, how are you?
We're doing
Chuck,
fantastic.
Hey,
So good. Your smile is as beautiful as I remember.
oh, yeah. It was ear to ear that when you guys put up my name. It was
So is it true that you are somewhere in Atlanta in some building shooting an episode of RoboCop 4?
That is partly true, yes. Yes.
So if we hear,
it's not called RoboCop.
okay, so if we hear any like weird noises in the background, we know it's part of the film crew, right?
Yes, just part of the production, and mainly maybe an old AC unit, but don't worry about it.
That's fantastic. Hey, why don't you tell our viewers, because you have a really cool, interesting story. Why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about how you started in voiceover when you were little?
Yeah, it was really crazy. I was introduced to voiceover in probably about the third grade. I remember one day my teacher came and said, hey, I'd like to see if you'd be interested in doing some reading from some of the, school books that we had back then on tape. So she took me to like this all-purpose room, and I thought I was in trouble.
Yeah.
But I went back there, and there was a little microphone, and back then it was a tape, so it was press, record, and play at the same time. And she said, why don't you just read out loud like you would if you got called on in class? And so she said that we would record me, and we would then play it back for some of the students that were taking additional reading courses.
Yeah.
Because she felt like, I was a decent reader and good with pronunciation and everything. And she felt like I could help, some of the other kids that maybe were having problems with reading do better. So that was like audio books on tape in third grade.
Elementary edition.
Check for, but that was my introduction.
That is fantastic.
Do you remember, did you do any character kind of voices for some of the stories, or were you just doing it as the narrator?
You know what? I think a lot of it was narrator. I didn't know what I was doing, really. I probably tried to, if it was a mouse, I probably went up a little bit higher like that, or, whatever. But I mean, hey, it was kind of an anything goes, and just to try to keep the, kids engaged.
Yeah, that's so sweet. I love it. You were like the youngest audiobook narrator ever. Did you ever hear the tapes of the stuff?
You know what? I vaguely remember hearing a little bit of a playback during class. She played. And, I was so embarrassed. I'm like, no, that's not me. No, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. So it was crazy. But, yeah, I remember hearing a little bit, once or twice.
That's so cute.
Very, very cool.
So tell us a little bit about, moving forward, we're out of school now. Tell us something about some of your voiceover training that you've had. You worked with some teachers at Edge Studio in New York, right?
Yeah. I made a trip to LA probably back in like 2010. And I was there on other business, but they had this like intro class. And I guess it was really to see, hey, if you're going to be any good at this anyway,
Right.
And I said, oh, well, I want to try it. And I think that was with Noelle, Romano.
Yep.
And it was like a kind of a go-see situation. And it was a small, like maybe 8 people. And it was really, really good. Like I was hooked then because the way that, she explained voiceover and just, the whole acting part of it, which I've always been, into that. I went to the Cleveland School of the Arts. I graduated there. So I always had that type of background, and everybody would say I had a nice voice. So I went there to see with a professional to see if, everybody had been lying to me all these years. And she said, no, she said, man, you're really good. We read different types of script. We went over different types of voiceover because I didn't even know. I mean, there's just such a wide range, and even since 2010, I mean, we know video games has exploded and more audiobooks and all that. So yeah, it was crazy, but that's how it started. And from there, I would take courses with Jay Snyder, who's also at Edge. Shout out Edge Studios.
Yes. Shout out to Edge Studio. Yeah.
And I don't know, I remember taking a few courses with Jay, and he was just so cool and like laid back and just made everything sound great. But that's who, told me about, picking apart the script, reading one word, but making it sound like another. Like I remember he would say, I was reading the script on Cadillac, and he was like, well, we can't just say Cadillac. Because, I mean, that's just not enough. But what if we said Cadillac like we were meaning chocolate? And then I said, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Cadillac.
yeah.
So how would Cadillac, how would Cadillac sound if you were meaning chocolate?
Cadillac. I mean, you guys don't make me.
Now you have to do if it's going to be milk chocolate, bittersweet, white chocolate, dark chocolate. Yeah.
It's milk chocolate. It's Dove. It's
yeah. That's fantastic.
That's awesome. That's great. That's great advice. Yeah.
And so he really, really opened up my eyes to a lot of things. And just it was great. It was just great training. But with voiceover, you're never done with your training. You just constantly are learning. You're constantly evolving. And learning to be versatile. So
absolutely,
that was the main things they showed me.
Absolutely,
I love it.
So Alanna, you have a background as a singer-songwriter and jingles and all that stuff. Can you share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, I felt that the music, the voiceover, and all that kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, you're always in a booth, you're always, in a recording studio for the most part on both. So I just was trying to figure out ways to mash it up. And I found out, hey, people like little quick blurbs, lines, things like that, over melody, track music, embeds, and words and script and copy. So I kind of just married it both together with the jingles. So I've done a couple of those. Are you guys going to ask me to play any? Because I don't remember any offhand.
Do you want to do them live?
No, you want to do them live? Yeah, sing them live.
Oh my God. No, I was trying to scroll through and see if I could find one. I remember doing one for like a jewelry spot. If I can find that, I'll play it for you guys.
You'll send it to us and we'll play it. What about, you said you recently started jamming out on the bass. Are you going to join like a band like Prince or something like that? Or
that's the end goal. I want to be able to go on this worldwide rock tour. But right now I'm really learning how to hold it. Yeah. And just really basic skills. I went out without getting any help or any of my friends, and I went and bought a 5-string.
Oh, nice!
Wow, go big.
They was like, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing. Why did you get a 5-string?" And I'm like, "You guys, it can't be this bad. It's like one more extra string. Why should that be so crazy?" But so I've been learning about tuning it, and I have that extra low B. So I've been learning how to tune that and listen for that, and
nice.
It's fun. It's fun. I mean, most of the time I'm just making noise, but I look cool with it. So
that's fantastic. That's really cool.
It could be just like pentatonic kind of. You're composing. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, a cool thing that you could start doing is while you're practicing your bass, you should be practicing voiceover tongue twisters at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you'll be like Stanley Clark, right?
Right.
I love it.
Oh, that's crazy.
So, Alanna, give us a little idea of what the business is like for you, the voiceover business is like there for you in Atlanta.
It's picking up really, really heavy. I've noticed in the last at least 2 years that, I've been doing it. I started off with a lot of kind of, I'll say, like narration,
Mm-hmm.
e-learning,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of corporate type videos, AT&T and Home Depot and, things like that. And some of that I was like, oh man, this is kind of boring, but it was necessary.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, hey, you've been through so many training videos in your life and you're falling asleep on them. Why not try to bring some life to the next person?
Yeah.
Might hear your voice on a training video
Mm-hmm.
or e-learning or anything. So, I definitely try not to be cause a snooze fest with that. I try to like keep it lively, keep everybody engaged and involved. So a lot of that, I have done some auditions for audiobooks. I haven't landed an audiobook gig, and I don't know if I'm happy or sad about that. I know it's a lot of discipline. Shout
Yep.
out to all my
Yes,
audiobook
it
narrators.
is. It is a commitment.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool to do that. But I've recently, since VO Atlanta, I picked up a Publix ad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it was so crazy because most of the time you go in, you do your read, the producers, everybody's happy, but you may never, if you don't request a copy, or you may never hear it live, like on the radio. But
Mm-hmm.
it's so crazy. I got to hear it twice now.
Beautiful.
Riding down the street, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
That's me.
That's me, and I'm like pulling over, trying to turn it all the way up, trying to like flag down the car next to me. That's me.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
But
Oh.
I didn't think I would hear it, and I did, so that was really cool.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
it's really good. Thank you. Yeah, it's really good here in Atlanta, and it's so much coming here,
Mhm.
even on the TV film side, that is
Right.
going to translate more into voiceover work for film and TV stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm excited about that. But it's good. Business
Yeah.
is good here in
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Oh,
That's
good.
fantastic.
And so you're working with Jay Purvis there, right?
Yes. Yep. I'm working with Jay Purvis.
Great
Cool.
agency.
He's awesome.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, what I love about you is that you're really into learning and being educated and getting better, and you have a really, really good understanding of how important that is. For the people around the world that are watching this show right now and that are watching you, that are just maybe starting out and are trying to build a voiceover career, what examples of some good things that they should be doing could you talk about in regards to maybe learning more?
Well, they definitely should look for whatever outlets they can. I mean, the internet is obviously endless possibilities with picking up stuff. There's so much, even on YouTube, where people are giving you practices and exercises and,
Mhm.
things like that. I think just really, Edge has a really good library of
Mhm.
scripts and feedback. They have a forum where you can get a lot of feedback from your peers. And that's always good to bounce, you know, your reading off of somebody else if you can, to get that
Absolutely.
feedback, that
Yeah.
initial, how did you feel when you heard me, reading the script and,
Yeah.
all of that. I met a good friend of mine now, Jennifer. She was going to audition at VO Atlanta for I think it was the segment where it was like three. I know Jay Purvis was in there. I think,
Mhm.
Jeffrey was
Jeffrey
in there,
Youngberger, yeah.
and somebody else.
Mhm.
And she bounced her read off of me. We had just met. And I said, you know what? The first read was good, but I really think the second read, you should lead with that. And I feel like that's going to like really capture them. And long story short, she called me later, like, hey, guess what? I got in. Like all of them made her offers and things, and it was great. And I said, see, bouncing off of other people,
Yeah.
getting that
Yes.
feedback. So I think don't be afraid to definitely share what you're doing, with
Mhm.
others, and let them give you, their honest feedback. I mean, try to find people that are more in a professional realm, I would say, that can give
Right,
you that,
right.
hey, like Chuck and Stacey, like to give you that feedback on, your reading and what you're doing. And I think that really you're your own worst enemy and best friend, because I mean, what sounds good.
Mhm.
I always tell myself, even if it's just, 1 second off or anything, hey, go back and do it again.
Right.
Because that's just the one piece that's lacking. It would be perfect if you just don't slack. And that was another thing that Jay taught me. Like, he was like, you're really good at, dissecting the script and going back. He said, don't let anything slide.
Yeah.
Don't let anything slide. Hey, you stumbled, go back. Don't try to edit it out.
Right. Yeah.
Don't try to throw a really quick fade on it. Just go back and really try to clean up those pieces. And that's really helped me. I've found I've landed the jobs when I don't let anything slide, when I'm, when I'm really focused and, when I really just give the best read. And then, Chuck, when you hear that piece of music or that whatever, how you get those little goosebumps.
Yep.
Look for the goosebumps.
Look for the goosebumps, baby.
Those,
absolutely.
I love that.
That was read. That's the one. That's the money one. That's where it's at. So.
Yeah. I love that. You should get a T-shirt. Look for the goosebumps. You should make a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's your new brand.
I'm writing that down.
I love it. So Alanna, what are your ultimate goals for your voiceover career? Short term and then even some long term ideas you have.
Well, short term is when I leave you guys, I'm going straight to the studio. I have an audition that's due.
Nice.
Jay Purvis, thank you. They sent me something. I'm going to get that turned in tonight. So I want to get that read. I think it's for a makeup campaign, which I don't wear a lot of, but I'm going to sure pretend like I know.
Because you're naturally gorgeous. Just think of it as chocolate. Chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yep. And I won't go wrong. So I'm going to do that. So that's a short-term goal to really get that done tonight. And then, long-term, you know what? I've always wanted to do the voice on the Discovery ID channel, on Snapped and Fear Thy Neighbor and all.
Fatal Vows.
You watch all the same shows I do.
Chuck
Investigation Discovery rules.
Oh, they are so twisted.
It's so crazy. And I've had a couple people tell me, and these people, they're not deranged or anything, they're my friends, but they say they go to sleep to that channel, to that voice, the woman who's speaking or even the guy who speaks on there. I just thought, I was like, that's narration. I like narration. Some of the stories are really crazy and interesting.
They are,
So just to be a part of that, I think, at the end of the day, at some point before I hang it all up, I would love to do that. Also some animation stuff.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I know you guys had Andrea Romano on a couple weeks back, and she's amazing.
The gold standard.
Absolutely.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
So you're doing a day job now, and you're able to balance doing your auditions and when you get a job, doing the session. So how do you kind of keep it all together, doing the day job and the VO work and?
Oh my God, I hardly do. But you know what? I found keeping my calendar notes for reminders.
Yep.
That definitely helps me. And then usually I'm logged into my email all day. So when I get, something that comes through from, Jay Purvis or, another online agency or something, I try to get on it and I'll make a note. And then, my hours here in production get pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm here really early, then I'm here really late. But I usually just try, even when I'm driving home and it's late and I know my voice is getting ready to get tired. If it's a 30-second read, it's a minute, I just try to push myself to do it. But I'll warm up, I'll be doing warm-ups. I'll be practicing on the way home. Then when I get home, I can just jump right in front of the mic and, get that going. So sometimes I'm burning the candle at both ends. I won't lie, but that's show business, right?
That's
Absolutely.
Right. That's right.
As long as you're not hurting your voice, I just say, practice, 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 and try to get it in. But, I try to make time, even on my lunch break. I'll go in the car and record even on my phone just to get a feel. And then I'll say, okay, I liked what I did there, and I'll just try to emulate that, when I get in front of the mic in the real studio.
Yeah.
So it's hard sometimes, but I try to keep it balanced. I definitely try to keep it balanced.
That is fantastic. Well, I got to tell you, man, you are so cool, and it was so great when we were over at Voiceover Atlanta, and you won the raffle, and you were screaming and shouting. Did you ever feel that you were going to be spotlighted on VO Buzz Weekly this soon?
No, I didn't know you guys. It was so crazy. VO Atlanta, Gerald, everybody out there. That it's a wonderful,
Great
wonderful
organization.
Yeah, it was a good.
Yeah,
it was a good
anybody
weekend.
who's even have any interest in voiceover, seasoned, beginner, whoever you are, get out to it, because it really is not a letdown. It's like an awesome experience, awesome people. Hey, I met Chuck and Stacey there.
Yay! We met you.
We're
And
so
at the
excited.
end, you guys, I was calling it a nice off. I was like, how the one person's gonna nice, over nice.
Yes.
A nice off.
It's great. Yeah. It was. Speaking of goosebumps, I had goosebumps the whole time because it was so exciting and so spontaneous, and it was such a privilege to meet you and to be able to showcase your life and your endeavors. And I know that you're inspiring a lot of people out there watching by what you're doing and your passion. So thank you so much. We wish you all the best, and stay in touch with us and keep us keyed into what's going on with you.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thank you.
You got it, Alanna. Take care.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, hey, we sure hope you guys enjoyed our VO Buzz Weekly Spotlight with Alanna Bryant. And we might be doing a lot more of these, so you never know.
You never know where we'll pop up.
Absolutely. And one reminder for you guys, every time you're watching one of our videos and you see the little YouTube thing scroll on the bottom here that says, hey, subscribe to our channel, hit that little thing and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Why? Because we love that.
Yes, we do. And you guys can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Pinterest, too. So follow us, click us, like us, and we'd love to see you there.
Absolutely. And until next time, you always have time for a little buzz.